Welcome, Twins fans, to another edition of Talking Twins, hosted by myself, Brad Swanson, and co-hosted by my friend Daryl Yates. Now, as always, each week, guys, we're here to give you our Twins coverage with our three segments, Down on the Farm, which Daryl and I take the minor leagues in depth. We also have Twins Chat. We go over the Major League Club, and then I'll wrap it up with the Twins calendar, where we'll cover the next week in Twins baseball. Now, we also have a special guest this evening. Twins minor leaguer Jamie Ogden is going to be on our show this evening. Jamie played for 8 years in the Twins minor league system, played with the GCL Twins, the Kenosha Twins, the Salt Lake Buzz, and I'm sure Jamie's going to give us some great stories about his time in 8 years in the minor leagues, as well as we can talk about what it's like for a minor leaguer to see when players start getting traded and dealt, of course, and things like that as well. So it's going to be real neat to have Jamie's point of view on the show, and he'll be with us towards the end of our Down on the Farm segment and right before we go into Twins Chat. Now, before we wrap up the intro, guys, I just want to remind you guys all, as far as feedback for the show, if there's anything you guys ever want to hear on the show, or if you have any comments, questions, anything like that for us on Talking Twins, just hit us up by email, talkingtwins@icloud.com. You've also got the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/twinsnotes, or you can also shoot us a tweet via Twitter, and our Twitter handle is twinsnotes as well. Now, just remember, guys, you may hear a little background noise this evening. Remember, it is our 10th episode, and we're celebrating that little milestone by actually recording the 10th episode up here in the Metropolitan Club at Target Field prior to Friday night's 7-10 game against the White Sox. So we'll be right back here on Talking Twins for Down on the Farm. Hey guys, we're back here on Talking Twins, and it's time now for Down on the Farm. We give you guys the minor league wrap-up in the Twins system. We're going to start by giving you guys our stars and players of the week. And we're going to start top to bottom this week. So we're going to be starting at Rochester. My man I'm highlighting there at Rochester this week is Davidson Romero, the third baseman. In 96 games so far this year, Davidson's looking like a solid prospect with a slash line of 283, 373, and 442, 41 runs scored, 7 homers, and 39 ribbies, and with his 29 doubles, Daryl, tied in the International League for #1 overall in doubles.
Well, and there's a reason why we've had him up here a couple times. This isn't his first time on Down on the Farm. He's legit. He's really good. He could potentially be a September call-up.
I think so. I think he's going to get a solid shot, that 40-man to play.
If he continues if he continues what he's doing, because he's improved 1 year to the next. That's the one thing I liked about Romero more than anything. And his stat line, like you said, it's consistent across the board.
It is. It definitely is. And with that, your AAA guy of the week.
Well, I kind of seems obvious, but it's once again Alex Meyer. And the reason why I did it, a couple of reasons. Well, 6 innings, 5 hits, and then it's all zeros until you get the strikeouts, then it's 8. So
nice.
Pretty solid. Now, a couple things. He went 6 innings. In those 6 innings, he hit 83 pitches. So he was right at that mark where the Twins are really monitoring because of his shoulder injury last year.
Yep.
And they haven't specified, is he going to put on a yearly limit count? Where Kyle Gibson, if you remember last year, he was put at I think it was 150.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So right now he's sitting at 101 innings, and I think, if they continue on the path, he could definitely make it up to where we want to see him, and that's in the big league. But at this point, it could be in the bullpen. Either way, as long as he gets the experience.
I'd agree with that.
Now, when we're gonna touch base on what happened this week in the big leagues, so maybe he's up there faster as a starter because of necessity.
Very, very, very true. And with that, we got to jump down now to AA and the Rockcats. And on the Rockcats this week, I've got my guy down there, Reynaldo Rodriguez. Now, Reynaldo, 98 games played so far down there in AA. The slash line's beautiful. 308, 359, and 521. I mean, you're not just hitting the ball for average. You're crushing the ball. Well, when you look behind it, I go, 32 doubles, 14 homers, 47 RBIs. And the thing I like about him is it's only a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for a power hitter that's doing that much damage.
He's doing really, really well. And when you got a guy, when you look at that lineup top to bottom, it's impressive.
It is. I'm
going to lead this in here to Jose Barrios. Okay, so he went out and he pitched yesterday. And this was a big pitching matchup because it was a rematch of the Futures game starters.
Yep.
And, it was good. And he did really well. I'm putting him here. 7 innings pitched. He only gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run. He walked run. He struck out 4. But he's not even my main guy because Kenny's Vargas
Mr.
hit a
Vargas.
grand salami
Yep.
and went 3 for 3. I mean, Kenny's on pace right now to hit 30 home runs and 100 RBI in Double-A.
Yeah, and that's
That's amazing.
unheard of. I mean,
that is amazing. And last year, he hit almost those same numbers.
Yep.
He had 25 and 95.
Consistency. It's definitely
And
there.
he's hitting it from both sides of the plate. I love it.
Let's jump down to the Miracle real quick. I've got a sneaky one down there hiding right now. It's not a guy that we have highlighted yet this year, but it is a guy that is quietly kind of, putting a nice little second half of the season down there, and that's Tim Shibuya. And Tim's 7-3 right now with a 3.13 ERA, but the thing I've noticed about him, in his last 2 starts, he's only allowed 1 run in each of those 2 starts, and he's only got a 255 average against. So the one nice thing there is guys are not hitting him, real bad. I like the strikeout to walk ratio at 48-8 though.
That's really
beautiful.
key for any pitcher. You can show command. Command is everything. That's what Terry Ryan. That's what all of the scouts are looking for if you want to get promoted or make it into the bigs. Is you have to have command. Because if you're off, if the guys are catching up to your heat. Command.
Yeah, you've got to be able to control the plate at somewhat. I mean, even Bert, talks about it, Mr. Blyleven, about you have to pitch both sides of the plate, as well as obviously moving the ball at eye level up and down. You've got to be able to pitch both sides of the plate because if you can, I mean, guys, if you're just going to not pitch inside, for example, well, then guys are teeing off on your stuff because it's all outside. It's not you're only playing with 50% of the deck, basically. I mean, but you're right. Control is a huge aspect of it. And that I'm starting to see it with Shibuya that maybe it's he might get a call up to Double-A if not by the end of the year. Maybe he moves up to the Rockets next year.
It'd be nice to see. Who I've got, I put Polanco in here because I love the story, and everybody remembers he got called up to the bigs, and he had his very first hit was that triple. It was exciting. It was electrifying. Well, he gets promoted to Double-A. He's at the airport. He's getting ready to board, and he gets a call. You got to get on a different plane. You're going the opposite direction. You're going to the bigs. So you got called up once again. Now, he's not going to be up for long. He's going to be up maybe over the weekend. We'll see. But, deservedly so. I mean, on the week, 5 for 13, a double, couple runs scored, an RBI. He's hitting that solid 291, 6 homers, 17 doubles, 6 triples, 45 RBI. He does it on defense. We saw it in the bigs. We see it there. A well-deserved promotion for him up to New Brighton here.
I will say most times most people when they get told they have to change a plane, they're pissed.
They're a little
mad.
upset.
I bet you Polanco was like almost like doing the O.J. Hertz commercial running to the airport.
How exciting is that? You get that call. It's like, you know what? Yep, congratulations on being promoted, but prior to that, let's get you up to Minneapolis.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And with that, we're going to slide on down and get down to Low A and the Colonels, and that's where I'm going to highlight Mitch Garver, guys. You've heard us highlight him before, but Mitch kind of earned it. As Daryl just said it, Mitch earned it this week with a 4 home run week. And I'm looking at Mitch's stats for the season, and they're no worse. His slash line of 300, 392, and 495 at the catching position. 13 homers and 62 ribbies, and again, 4 bombs this week.
That's like Mike Piazza number, and let's not forget, 3 of those bombs came in one game.
One game and that was on the 21st, and then 2 days later on an off day on the Tuesday, and then 2 days later he hits the 4th homer of the week. So it's
exciting. It's going to be really. I mean, we've got a lot of young catchers in our system.
We do.
We got Stuart Turner at Fort Myers. We got Mitch Garver, as just mentioned, here in Cedar.
And who do you have at Cedar this week?
I didn't do anybody in Cedar actually because
that's right.
Our guest is actually here.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You know what? We're gonna let's knock it down to Elizabeth then real quick, guys, because I'm really excited for you guys to listen to some great stories I've already heard. My guy here, Max Murphy, a native Minnesotan. He's from Robbinsdale, Minnesota. He attended Robbinsdale Cooper High in New Hope, Minnesota. On the week, 4 for 12, 2 runs, 2 RBI. He's hitting, and now everybody knows down in Elizabethton, my guy is Gordon. I can't just keep Gordon. This week, like I said, 4 for 12, 2 runs, 2 RBI, 373, 8 home runs, 7 doubles, a pair of triples, 4 stolen base, 24 RBI.
Killing it.
To get his rookie year started.
Killing it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Way to go.
There, and I'll close it out for us for our stars of the week here and down on the farm with another E-twin, and that's Jorge Fernandez. It's another catching prospect that you guys might want to kind of tune into this guy. In 11 games down there so far, 32 at-bats. He's hitting .406. 424 and then 469 to finish out the slash line with 2 doubles and 8 ribbies already. It sounds like Daryl said, we've got a lot of catching prospects in the organization. Yes, they might be in the lower end of the ball right now, but the good thing is
there'll be that trickle effect. If a trade were to happen, and we're going to be talking about that here later on in the podcast, then you're going to see a trickle effect going up.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to get promoted because you can definitely see Stuart Turner getting bumped to Double-A. He's got the numbers for it, and obviously your guy just shows why he can definitely be up in Fort Myers.
Yeah, and keep those thoughts in mind, folks, because we will cover that during Twins chat. We'll get into the Twins, and obviously buyers or sellers will now become sellers, and we'll get into the trade talk then. But we do have a special guest this evening. We're going to be right back here on Down on the Farm. We've got Jamie Ogden here tonight, guys. Former Twins minor leaguer, 8 years in the Twins system, GCL Twins, Kenosha Twins, Salt Lake Buzz. Jamie's going to sit down with us and just give us some great stories. We're going to talk about the minor league aspect of this time of the year and just kind of spin some tales with Jamie. So, guys, we'll be right back on to talk. Back here on Talking Twins, we do have our very special guest with us tonight, Jamie Ogden. Jamie played 8 years in the Twins minor league system. Has experienced everything from spring training to the GCL Twins, to the Kenosha, the Salt Lake Buzz. And we're glad to have him here tonight. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the minors, just kind of spin some tales. This time of the year right now, we're seeing guys getting sold. You're seeing young kids starting to get called up, and we thought, hey, it'd be nice if we could have somebody who's got an expert voice on what that feeling is like in the minors. And then just also as Daryl and I, we might just be fans listening too.
Yes, hey, here's some stories here.
And with that, let's flip it over to the first thing, I guess, Jamie, is as a minor leaguer, and if you remember this, what does it feel like when you start seeing, this time of the year when if a club is selling it? As a minor leaguer, if you're having a good first half, is that excitement start building inside like, hey, maybe I'm going to trickle up, maybe that means it's my, my time or my spot?
Yeah, you always have your head on a swivel most of the year, really. The first time that happens is really after the draft. After the draft, there's a lot of shake-up, a lot of guys going up, down, and going home. And then after that, the next big times that people kind of open their eyes is when there's major injuries and when there's this time of the year, teams are selling. I was in AAA with we were in I'm trying to think where we are, Colorado Springs, and Todd Walker and I were sitting there, and this was the year Todd started the year up in AAA. And
okay,
I remember he was drafted. You bet.
Yeah, and we were sitting there having breakfast, and they sent someone flying over to our table and said, "Hey, you got to get packed up. They just traded Dave Hollins. You're up." Todd just like, okay,
that's my call to the majors.
I'm going again.
So take us back to when you were drafted.
Sure.
You were drafted right out of high school.
Yeah, 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
3rd round, yes, sir, yeah.
And just tell us about the process because wasn't it Terry Ryan?
Yeah, okay, well, first of all, it's interesting because I got to know Terry Ryan when we were back, and I was probably 9th grade. He invited a bunch of...
9th grade, not a senior, you're 9th grade.
Freshman in high school, freshman in high school.
So you're 14 years old or...
Lord knows.
Oh,
yes.
My goodness, okay.
Yeah, it was a situation where I was a freshman season just ended, and it was all conference for the White Bear Bears.
Wow.
So he invited me and a bunch of other guys that were all conference and all stayed out for a workout. And Terry was the pitcher. And I hit one off the top of the baggie, and he turned and said, "Is that your best shot?" And I said, "Well, with as weak as you're throwing it, yeah." And ever since then, we were pretty good friends,
Oh, that's great.
Arrogant little 14-year-old, But yeah, it's interesting. Terry and you would tell stories about how, it'd be a slow day at the Dome, so he would go and just watch players that they're looking to draft, and I'm forgetting his name now all of a sudden. He wanted to be in the general manager for the Rockies. Don, I got his picture in my face. Anyway, but Terry and Gebhardt and Mr. Gebhardt both came out to watch one of our practices. And they saw that no other scouts were there, so they were just standing behind some bushes watching us play to make sure that, they don't disturb.
So you're not trying to do anything,
like
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
And I guess Gebhardt then was starting to smoke, and Terry smacked him and said, "Oh, no. And Anyway, nowadays, Terry said you probably get arrested for that. He's standing behind a
Well,
bush
yeah, you
watching
probably
the game.
would. You're in high school.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You don't want that on your record.
Not
so
really.
you're drafted third round, and everybody knows. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. I love the baseball draft. I love the minor leagues. Take us through that excitement.
Sure. Well, I signed to go play basketball and baseball at Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I was really excited to do that.
And by the way, I'm sorry, but
That's
you're
okay.
6'5", 225 when you were drafted. You're a
Yes.
senior. You're 6'5", 225. Now, I thought I was a big guy standing next to Brad, and I'm dwarfed here. So this is why he's talking basketball, guys.
And I'm just small, so.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, Jamie.
No, that's great. I wanted to stay at the U, but Clem wouldn't let me play both sports. So I was going to go to Oklahoma, and Twins came around, and the draft happened, and Terry and my dad were the negotiators together, and in our living room, which was really interesting. Both kind of blunt, hard-nosed guys, and it was great, great relationship. And so, yeah, I signed and went right down to Sarasota, Florida. It was the year before we were in Fort Myers.
Okay.
That's how old I am. And
We're right there with you, buddy.
I was with guys, that most of them didn't even speak English. So, and I'm a mama's boy, and I was quite an awakening. But in the GCL, yeah, we wound up having guys like Brad Radke and Troy Hawkins and Matt Lawton, and we had quite a club. Played against Derek Jeter, Chipper Jones.
Yeah, pretty well-known names, Twins fans, Twins fans and, just MLB fans. I mean, those are some names. I mean, definitely.
So who's one of the more prominent pitchers, or who's, if prominent or not, who's the best pitcher or your hardest guy that you couldn't touch your stuff?
Oh, man.
Or did you knock the crap out of everybody?
I hit everybody.
Yeah, I guess I thought.
No, of course not. There wasn't one that really stood out as, wow, I can't hit that guy. There were guys, because what you have to do is you have to convince yourself before you go to the plate that you can hit anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. One good example was I'm a lefty. I always liked hitting lefties because I have a brother who's a lefty who actually pitched a year in the Rangers organization.
Okay.
His arm went out, but I faced Billy Wagner.
Oh, okay,
And,
sure.
He's throwing
hard throwing.
Yeah.
and he's got a big curveball, and it's kind of like, how in the world am I going to do this? Before you even get up to the plate. But somewhere between the dugout going, what in the world, to getting in the batter's box, you have to have that confident confirmation that you're just absolutely going to make it happen. And I went 1 for 2 with a double and moved a runner over.
Nice. So what everybody says, it's a mental game. It truly is a mental game. You have to
absolutely.
prepare yourself both physically and mentally that
Yeah.
you can hit anybody.
Well, if you wait for evidence for confidence, it's too late. You've let too many at-bats go by where you weren't confident because you haven't had a hit off this guy yet. You can't wait for that stuff. You have to really use your mind.
And I look at hitting too, and I think you so much more have to. If you look like football, guys can sometimes sandlot a play and make a play that's never even there. But I mean, with baseball, that game's mental from the second that pitcher winds up and that ball's releasing, because it's your brain processing that baseball coming at that speed. The fact that you've got less than a quarter of a second to actually even think, do I want to take a cut or do I want to let it go by? And I can't find a more mental game in terms of major sports. People say golf is, but I don't.
Well, Brad, if I would have had it put that way before I went up to the plate, I never would have hit. I would have been scared to death.
I guess I was, and that's why I didn't get as far.
Well, here's a great story for you then. In Double-A, Torrey Hunter was hitting about 205 or something like that.
And I want to preface, we briefly talked about this, and I said I had to hear this one, so please, I'm sorry, but rip this one out.
Well, first of all, Torrey is the same guy that you'd always imagine he would be if you walked up to him anywhere. He's just a fantastic guy. Well, he was in Double-A, struggling, hitting 205 or something like that. Great fielder, as he always has been. But he had it lined up where he called the I'm blanking on their name. Where he's from, Arkansas coach, and he was ready to go play defensive back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and his mom said, heck no. And then the Twins realized this and helped him with confidence, and also gave him a quick little look up in the big leagues for a week where he was a pinch runner off the bench. And that helped him be able to envision what he really wanted out of this. And after that, he worked on his hitting. He always worked on his hitting, but he worked on it with a different mental attitude, and now he is who he is.
And it goes back to that mental aspect that you said. You've got to have that right mental aspect.
Right.
And kind of leading to that, how about maybe a guy that, tell a story if you could, if you remember, how about a guy that maybe had tons of potential, but that you personally saw, like in the organization, just either blow it or not make it, or kind of wash out, that you thought was going to be there?
Yeah, there's a lot of those, really. That happens a lot. And again, the mental grind. It's a grind. It's not a simple thing to, in the minor leagues, there's no union, so you don't. We had 66 days in a row of games. There's no taking a break.
I guess not.
No, don't cry for me, but that's what it is. And we had a guy in the organization that a lot of people were calling like a little Puckett, and it was Tim Moore. His name was House. For whatever reasons, his everything just kind of declined for him, and I don't know what that would be. But one guy we faced was Jose Silva. He was throwing 99, 100, and he got in a car accident.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that can happen. I mean, I don't know how Torrey can stay healthy like he does. It's amazing how well he takes care of his body. But it seems like yesterday he'd show up to the field with just Burger King or something like that. But that's not the case anymore. That's for sure.
No. He's a Hall of Fame center fielder when it comes to that, and I'm sure Twins fans, they remember that day when he was taken by free agency and he got the big contract.
Yeah.
It was a sad time because we went from tradition to tradition, one great center fielder to the next, and he was part of that era when we had those young guys come up, and he was a big part of it, and he was a lot of fun to watch in that center. He could cover the ground.
He's a beauty. He's just, he's wonderful all around. I mean, everyone's got faults. Puckett was one of the greatest teammates ever, and I could talk all night about him. But we do have a part of a book written about him, and it was pretty neat, by the way. We here I am, first year of big league camp, '96, and Puckett's the big guy. And as rookies, we're supposed to be quiet, not say a whole lot, and just do as you're told. And anyway, we got up there, and about a week into it. Puckett, there was a big rain out, and Puck's really good on including people and stuff, and so in the middle of it, he just says, "Hey man, we're gonna invite Augie over here. We're gonna go over to whatever place it was." And I already told myself, just for me, I'm not going out. I don't go anywhere. If I'm gonna go out to eat, I'll go out to eat, but I'm not gonna go clubbing.
Right, not nightlife in it.
It's just not my game.
Yep.
Right? It's just me. I'd rather go back and play Sega.
Nice. There you go.
So. So he said all this. He says, "It's all on me. We're going to go." And I had already told myself I wasn't going to do that. So the words came out, "That's not my game, Puck." So basically, turn Puckett down in front of everybody.
Oh,
wow.
Which is a big no-no in their eyes, right?
Right.
So this is the kind of leader he is. I'm just an insignificant rookie that he was trying to reach out to. And the next morning, when everyone's there, and I had already heard from all the other rookies saying, "Boy, you're stupid," well, whatever. Anyway, the next morning he yells across the room, and he has a nickname for everybody, so he yells, "Ogden!" I'm like, uh-oh. He's serious. He's yelling Ogden, and everyone's there. And anyway, he walks halfway across the room after I said, "Yeah, Puck." And he's like, "Come on, let's go hit on the curveball machine. We're going to work on this. We're going to stand back and drive the ball the other way." And, he started doing all that, and we left. And I realized that night that what he was doing was trying to say in front of everybody, "Hey, I'm cool with this kid."
Oh, I got you. Sure.
It's not like he's going to walk up to everybody and say, "Hey,
Even though you want to do your thing, your own thing, your own way. That's pretty cool. That's pretty,
That's really good.
Especially when it's him too. There's cash
absolutely.
There's cash there. Yeah.
That's the kind of leader he was.
He was.
And I take that into my everyday life now. Always reaching out for, the quietest, least included, or whatever it is. No matter what's going on at home, when you get to the ballpark or wherever your work is, it's, hey, lift other people up.
So you get the call up in '96 to go to AAA.
Yep.
Tell us about that, because that's a big moment in I got to imagine anybody's professional career. You're going to AAA. You're right there. You're right there, and you spent 3 years, and you had some solid years there. You had a couple good years there. I'm looking. I get to cheat here because I printed off some numbers here.
I remember the one
but
where you had 280 or 282 with, I think, 16 homers. If I'm
286.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. 286. There you go.
I missed those 4 hits. I'm sorry.
Let's get right. So no. In '96, looks like if these are right, 118 hits, 263, 18 bombs, 74 RBI. That's a hell of a good year. That's your first year up.
Yeah, that was the first year in AAA, and what's not reflected is the hardest part, and I think that's staying healthy.
Okay.
I found out the year before that I had a couple cracks in my vertebrae. So I started losing playing time on the DL In fact, there was a time on there where they had called down and asked about who's available, and that was when Puckett's eye issue came up.
Okay.
Because I was playing outfield and first, and so that came up. So it was exciting. Salt Lake is beautiful, unbelievable people out there, and it really feels like the major leagues out there. I mean, you're getting 20,000 people.
Wow.
It was gorgeous. You know, the first at bat, I was just awestruck because we didn't take time for batting practice. We just showed up and got ready to play, and looking out, and you see the Wasatch Mountain Range, and it's just fantastic. And we had guys on our team that year that were pretty dang good players. You know, the Robbies and Quinlans, and I think Hocking was with us, and we had an outstanding team. So it was really fun.
That's great.
Now, I was going to ask about that season. Did you have, though, honestly, thoughts, though, after that season? Those are some decent numbers that year you had 286. I mean, did you honestly have some thoughts in the back of your mind that if not that fall, that next spring, maybe that was going to be the pop? That was going to be it? I mean,
yeah, you know, after the season, you know, you can't help but to think, hey, maybe there's a chance. You know, there's so many factors that are included, and one of them was I also knew that one of my positions was first base. Well, one spring, that year at spring training, I'm taking ground balls at first base with Dave Hollins. He just switched over there a little bit, or the next year. Dave Hollins, Paul Molitor, Doug Minkiewicz, me, and David Ortiz. So I knew that my shot was
Stiff
a little
competition.
yeah,
Stiff competition at first base.
Yes.
So, and Cordova was a rookie of the year before. So going into that spring training, I was excited, but I knew that there was some quality coming up. So I knew it was slimmer than I think I gave myself credit for, but it was what it was. Going back to Salt Lake is not a bad thing.
No, it sounds like it was. I've never been out there, to see the place, but it sounds like it's a heck of an experience. Though I mean, I think just getting to play in the minors at all for me would be, a dream. I know it's not for the pay or for the for just the aspect of doing of the play of the game, but.
No, absolutely.
At 40 years old, that's not going to happen. I don't think so.
Hey, never know. Twins are always looking.
I think they're looking past me.
So after nine seasons, and obviously we know that. Yep. Okay, you didn't make it to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a point in time? What was it in '98? Was it in '97 that you started thinking, I got to start planning for my next chapter of my life?
Sure. You kind of always have that in the back of your head every off season. You're kind of doing two things. You're 100% sold on training for the next season, but I mean you're one knee away from being done. But no, after the '97 season, it was an okay season, and I knew some teams had some interest in me. The Yankees and the Cubs wanted me to be in their AAA and come off the bench, and believe it or not, I could run. So they had me do that. That was 40 pounds ago, though. And but anyway, no, I mean, you're all in until you're done.
Okay.
And I knew at the end of '97, I'm like, I might have 1 year left of me with my back. And then partway through that year, we found out we were having our baby girl, and it's like, okay, there's no way I can be on the DL. And as Wayne Hadaway would say, the training table doesn't have wheels. Can't wheel you up to Minnesota.
True, very true. That's true. Well, I mean, give us one of your. I'd like to hear kind of one of your, just kind of offlandish, one of the craziest stories you can think of in your minor league time. Maybe it involves you, maybe it involves, somebody you can remember, but just kind of one of the craziest, things.
Family friendly. This is family friendly, so let's keep it clean.
Yeah, exactly. If there's any, under the R
I'm just
rating.
I'm just
Under
teasing.
the R rating, yeah.
I think I already got as far as I could with the Puckett one, but
Yeah.
most people are most interested in the Puckett stories. I think that one's probably as good as it gets. But in '91, I was going to be in the second year of the Gulf Coast League, and Wayne Hadaway, the clubhouse guy that everyone knows in the Twins organization, was he had a box of stuff, and he was getting rid of it. And I just said, hey, I'll keep that because it looked like there was uniforms in there. So I grabbed it, and it had a Puckett jersey, a Herbeck jersey, pants, all sorts of stuff, and I had two Puckett jocks. So I'm like, this is great. So my grandma, who was pretty off the wall, I mailed her one. and said, "Hey, here's a gift from Puckett." And of course, I told Kirby about it. He thought it was funny. I'm not just sending his jock anywhere.
Right.
And
just it out randomly,
Yeah. So, well, anyway, Grandma forgot she had it. Well, that was 91, so that was a big year. Well, as everyone's waving Homer hankies, my grandma's waving Kirby's jock.
Oh, wow.
So game 6 comes around, and we're down 3-2, and Grandma decides, back then they actually had antennas on the TVs.
Yep.
Grandma put the Puckett jock up on the TV and said, okay, this is going to bring Puck luck. And bang, he had one of the greatest games anyone could ever have in the World Series. And she said, I'm not taking it down. My parents were like, you have to take it down. We have a showing in our house. They had it on the market. We got a showing in the morning. She's like, well, their agent's just going to have to explain it to them because this is a lucky jock. Well, needless to say, those people did not buy the house.
So they weren't Twins fans.
They were pretty concerned, I would imagine.
Come on, look past the jock. There's a house here.
Come on, that's fantastic.
Never mind the jock. The grandma won't take it down.
Superstition. There's a lot of superstition in baseball. I'm sure you dealt with that as well, huh?
I could have said the jock was for Jack. I mean,
Yeah, no, that was pretty fun. And I think, getting to know the biggest thing that Kirby was great about talking about is relationships. The biggest thing that you carry on with you is relationships. And, doing unto others. And that's helping us now. We're putting together an all-star group of coaches it's called the Minnesota Icemen. And it's kind of like a Yeti kind of a character, big beast. But anyway, a bunch of guys like Justin Kaminsky played at the U. He just got done with Houston and T.J. Bond, who got a World Series ring with the Phillies. We're all together now. And to be able to share this with kids so that they have this template of success to carry with them. And also we're doing a charity called Assist to Play that will make it affordable for all the kids. I mean, and these days, the way it's set up, a Kirby Puckett might not make it.
Right.
Because then it was all about us just playing ball on the sandlots and being on teams. Well, now it's, you're on a team, and then you start a developmental team, and then you go into an elite team. Well, these guys don't have money for that. So we're changing that.
That's really good.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that these guys, the guys and gals that want to be in the elite programs for their sports, are going to get it. All they got to do is make a team on their own merit, and then have some time to volunteer to a charity of their choice.
Nice.
And
Very nice.
One big fundraiser that's coming up is 100-mile-an-hour challenge. So you could get up there and try to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. It's simulated like a real live major league pitcher.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do. And
that's fantastic.
got some celebrities lined up to get it started, and then
nice.
Everyone else can try it from there.
And this is when?
This starts next week.
Next week?
Yeah, and if people want information, they can just go to MinnesotaIcemen.com.
Okay. MinnesotaIcemen.com.
It'll be up there soon.
Okay.
And guys, we'll also have a link on our site to the MinnesotaIcemen.com as well. So you go to our homepage, you'll see it right up there. There'll be a nice little link to it. So if you guys want to go check it out, please do. Just click on the link, and you'll be taken right there.
Yeah, and it's fun for me, too, because we might even change the name of the challenge. We're waiting because Killer Brew Root Beer wants to be a part of us. They are officially a partner with us now, but we don't know on what level. So it might be the Killer Brew home run.
Nice.
Challenge.
That'd be good too.
Can't get any better.
No, you really can't. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, how do you beat the Killer Challenge? I mean, that's.
And interestingly, a lot of guys like Carew, and to their credit, they'd come down and do baseball stuff with us. Well, Harmon came down and took Brian Robbie and I and took us to different respite care areas and to greet people and show us how it's done. How
Very nice.
Taking care of people is done.
That's got to be an amazing experience right there.
I mean, that's the number one thing in I did in baseball. Other than you get to kids will listen to you a little bit more when they find out you play the Twins. That kind of stuff. That stuff's all great, but watching one of the best ever at both philanthropy and baseball do what he does and see into his heart was fantastic. So I love sharing that and spreading that.
That might be one of my favorite stories right there. That's really great.
I think with that, I don't think I can wrap up the segment better than that. That's just a beautiful way to end it right there. We want to thank Jamie very much for coming on out and spending his time with us. We know he's got a couple of guys sitting here that want to go watch a ball game, so we're gonna let them go.
Hopefully, a Twins victory tonight.
Yeah, so
yes, sir.
We'll go let them have some family time as well. And again, I want to say thanks to you, Jamie. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jamie.
Absolutely.
Check us out at
Great
Twins
meeting you
Notes.
guys.
You will see the link to Minnesota Icemen. So go out there and help out. The charity Assist to Win, and help out these kids any way you can. These are kids that are just wanting the chance to play baseball, and like Jamie said, they have to give back to get something out of this. So it's a nice little way that circle spins around there. So please check it out.
And I just want to give a quick shout out, Daryl. Thanks for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate that very much.
Not
All
a
right.
problem.
And with that, guys, we're going to wrap it up with Down on the Farm with Jamie Ogden here. Guys, Daryl and I will be back in just a moment for Twins Chat right here in Talking Twins. We're back here on Talking Twins, guys, and it's now time for Twins Chat. Remember, if you do hear a little noise in the background, then again, we are here at the Metropolitan Club at Target Field this evening. With our 10th episode, we are celebrating by recording up here at the Met Club. With that, let's get into Twins Chat, guys, and probably the number one topic on most Twins fans' minds right now is the Twins in terms of the trade market. I mean, they've obviously already made one move, Daryl, and dealing Kenny Morales back to Seattle, and that's not the only move that's going to happen.
No, not at all. They took a flyer on him, and I applaud them for doing that. I don't think anybody expected them to land Kendrys Morales, but they were only 5 games out at the time. They did the right thing. It didn't pan out because he's not hitting so well, and we're obviously not in the position we thought we'd be. But we get a good arm, we get a live arm that's going to work well for our bullpen in exchange, really, for a flyer in Stephen Pryor. He right now he's got a 4.65 ERA in AAA. He was sent to Rochester. That's where he's going to start. But when he just came off of shoulder surgery, prior to that, he compiled a 2.81 ERA, 35 to 16 K to walk ratio. That was pretty good in the bullpen, and that's what hopefully we're going to see again probably next year.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see any way that the Twins lose in that situation. I mean, Morales, the numbers show he wasn't hitting well. 234, a homer, 259 on base percentage, and that's in 152 ABs. So obviously those numbers just weren't there, and I think the Twins, obviously that was going to be a this-year deal only anyway. So to get a 25-year-old arm out of it, I think for them it's definitely a win situation.
Well, they own his rights until 2018.
Yep.
So you got a lot to work with. He's under contract until that time. You're not paying an ungodly amount of money. You get him up next year. Maybe he takes Burton or Casey Fiend's spot, just depending on what happens. We got until July 31st here. So we got until next Thursday, and a lot of things can happen. One of the big things, and most people maybe already hear it, is Kurt Suzuki.
Yep.
He's he's not the only chip, but he's our biggest trade chip right now. He's an all-star, and he's got 2 teams in the Cardinals and the Orioles that are taking a hard look at him.
Yeah, and what's going to make it tough for the Twins is that there were 2 contracts that were signed last season that are going to kind of set the bar for where Suzuki's agent's going to want to take it. And the one is Jared Saltalamacchi, who got a 3-year, $21 million deal with the Marlins. The other was Carlos Ruiz, who got re-signed by the Philadelphia Phillies to a 3-year, $26 million deal that can balloon up to 30. That's you got one guy making 7, one guy that's in 8, almost 9 to 10. With Suzuki hitting and playing right now at the same level those other 2,
well, and the Twins are trying to sign him, but they're not even close. They're negotiation. They're so far apart right now. I can't imagine. They haven't put it out what they've offered, but I can't imagine it's any more than a 2-year, 12, 15 million max.
Yeah, and I'd say that would be the max right there.
Because you're looking at a 30, 31-year-old. And you have pitching in the minors that we spoke about in the Down on the Farm segment. You have pitching in the minors, and as valuable as he is hitting way above his career average.
50 to 60 points, yeah.
And if you can get 2 top 20 prospects or a really high-end top 10 prospect and then a secondary one, I think you got to grab it.
Oh, at that point, I totally agree with you because you can't lose out. Again, it's that deal. You can't lose out and get nothing.
Right.
Some fans sit there and we don't want to lose them. We don't want to. Well, you can't lose out and get nothing. You can't do that. And Daryl made a great point. He's probably not going to hit at that 300 mark again next year. That's not his career average. It's about 50 to 60 points, as we said.
He's
higher.
63 points higher right now as of today.
Right,
63 points. And right now you got Baltimore. I think they're going to be the best. The most likely candidate because Matt Wieters is gone for the season.
Done for the season.
He's an all-star. The Cardinals, the other one with Yadier
Molina, but
right.
they could get Molina back by the beginning of September, so I think there's a little less leverage on the Cardinals side. Plus, the Orioles are in a pretty tight. I mean, it's a 4-team race right now in the AL East,
and they're definitely in it.
Yep.
They're just patching together some people to play the backstop, and they have a good, deep farm system full of pitching prospects, and obviously that's what we got to look at.
I definitely. I mean, you have to look at it. If it's not going to work, if the player's not going to sign, then what can you get out of the deal? What can you make out of the deal? And with Suzuki, we'll watch and see over the next few days. But he's going to have to sign something that's friendly to the Twins' budget and the way they want to go. And
he doesn't want it. He's 30 years old. He doesn't
So-
want to do that. He wants a max one. And his agent, as you pointed out to me, his agent he's not that type of agent. He's a Scott Boras type agent.
Yep.
He's going to look for the max deal, and the Twins are not going to offer him that.
Which means you can probably bet that Terry Ryan will be working the phones pretty hard in the next few days.
Well, and you can also bet that you're not going to see a lot of Suzuki
In the next few days.
No, you're not.
Exactly.
They're not going to take a chance of him getting hurt or slumping.
Yeah, or just dropping his value. Exactly.
Right.
It's a double-edged sword there.
Right now they can do he has a couple games. I don't think we'll see him anymore in 2 games. We'll see a lot of Fryer, maybe Herman,
Yep.
Pinto.
Yep.
We're going to see a mix of those guys right now.
I couldn't agree more. Really, I mean, you're not going to risk your trade chip.
The other guys on the block, you got Kevin Correa. His last outing, not good. You had scouts out here, and he tanked is what he did.
Yeah.
Now he's on the mound tonight against the White Sox.
Try one for the Twins. Really, it's one last time to show his wares.
This is why I don't believe he's gone yet, because they're going to showcase him. If he has a good outing, his value goes up that much higher.
Yep.
And maybe instead of that guy you never heard of, he's on the top 20 prospect list. You're only going to get a B-level guy. You're going to get a 3rd, maybe 4th string rotation. But if you can get that for him, you take it.
Well, yeah, because he's not going to be in your starting rotation next year.
No.
So why would you not? Yeah, why would you not take it? One of the other guys we want to look at, and he's been talked about for a long time, but it's kind of wavered, and you hear Josh's name, and then it goes away, and then it comes back again. I mean, the latest I heard, and this was as of yesterday, that it's down to the Reds and the Pirates.
Yep.
And the Reds actually offered Willingham a 2-year contract before he signed with the Twins 2 years ago. So the Reds were players back then, and I guess the Reds.
Well, and they definitely need
Bottles.
They need
Bottles gone in the lineup, and they need to score runs. And obviously, in that ballpark, he could do well. I mean, that ballpark does set for
it's a hitter-friendly park. Absolutely,
Yep.
Absolutely. No, that would be good.
And the Pirates are suitors as well. They're still looking for a little more offense. If it's my money right now, if they trade him, he's a Cincinnati Red. I just think right now the fact that the Reds had interest before, the Reds do have some pitching to give. They do have even in their minor league system.
Well, we're not going to get their top 2 or even 3 pitching prospects. It's going to be a ladder prospect.
They've got middle, but they've got enough where they've got middle and lower to give.
And again, a top 20 prospect, that's a B. I call a B level. So a number 3, number 4.
Yep.
That's not bad though. That's not bad.
And as we talked about again, you're not going to have this guy at the end of the season.
Get something.
So get something. Please don't be locked into the, sometimes too many fans think with the heart only, but you can't lock in that because you have to realize at some point, okay, this guy's not going to be here. How can I make this team better? And that's with Willingham, that'll be the case.
And with pitching, you really got to take a flyer if you can get something, because right now, our number 1 the default, if you want to call it, is our pitching. I mean,
and why not
4 straight years again. We're ranking right now 28th among 30 teams.
And why not take a flyer when you're talking about a 35-year-old left fielder / DH? Why not take a flyer, because you're not going to have him here after the end of the year anyway. So really, why not take that flyer? I mean, take it. We also, these are long shots. I don't know if either of these guys are going to go anywhere. We're talking about 2 guys in the bullpen that could possibly be traded. Perkins, I've heard it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a moment. I don't think they're
hometown. He took a hometown contract friendly.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not going anywhere.
No, the one that intrigues me a little bit is Casey Fian. That one, I could at least see the legs to it. I don't know that there's any substantiated
Well, you definitely if you look at what happened in the draft, they went and got guys that could throw 100 miles an hour.
Right.
That are bullpen ready. Okay. and then you just now traded for another bullpen arm who's at AAA.
I mean, the
So
writing's
he could go.
yeah, the
He
writing's
could be
definitely
there.
on the wall. You're right. The writing's definitely definitely on the wall there. It's it's they're just that we're saying that we're just saying up front there hasn't been any like substantiated
No.
reports yet. But
I mean, there's been talks about you hear about everybody. Jared Burton's been talked about. Casey Fiend.
But let's be honest, some of these trades are the ones you don't hear about, and then all of a sudden they pop up
And they
it's
surprise
like,
you.
Yeah, and that's
with
where
Casey Fiend's numbers, you could actually get a decent prospect, be it pitching or hitting.
and that's what we're trying to tell you fans right now. So maybe we'll save a little surprise on you if that does happen. You'll be like, wait a second, Talking Twins mentioned that could be a possibility. Not a surprise. We heard that. And that's just we want to give you guys all the aspects. I really don't know though. The Twins are pretty thin on trade chips. Other than once you get after those the players we mentioned, there just really isn't much there from a veteran standpoint.
Unless you get down to the minor leagues.
And
Unless you get down to the minor leagues. I mean, it was thrown out last week, Matt Kemp for possibly Polanco and Rosario.
And we talked about this, Daryl and I did, before the show, and we're in agreement that number one, me and Daryl, and we're actually, this is a side note, but we're going to Cedar Rapids before the end of this season. That's how much that we love, minor league ball. We're gonna swing down there. But I mean, me and Daryl love following the minor league as much as the majors with the Twins. We do, and we both agree. We're not giving you any of those top blue chip pros. You're not getting Barrios. You're not getting. You can forget about.
Well, they're not going to give any arms.
You can
They're not
forget
throwing
about the
arms.
M&M
Yeah,
boys.
they're not giving arms.
And I'll even go to hitters. You can forget about Kenny Vargas. You can probably forget about Adam Brett Walker. I know you can forget about Byron Buxton, and that's what I mean. We're not in the position.
That's not what the Twins do.
And
That's
they're
not what the
not in
Twins
the
do.
position to sell the minor league right now. It's not like they're up here, in a dead heated playoff race. We're not going to. And to get Matt Kemp, I don't need a center fielder that at 30 is already showing serious age signs when I've got a kid that in a couple years is going to come out and play the position anyway.
Who could play it as early as the end of next year in Byron Buxton.
Exactly, and I mean, and with that, I don't, Matt Kemp to me that really doesn't do me any good. He solves at best a short-term problem, and I'm not going to mortgage long-term talent. That's studly talent.
And they're not gonna pay that kind of money for someone that you're gonna have a guy that's better in Byron Buxton.
Daryl mentioned a very solid point there. Matt Kemp has a $20 million a year contract right now. I can guarantee the Twins aren't taking it. And they'd have to get the Dodgers to eat at least half of it. And I still think the Twins might even him at $10 million. They might think about it, but I guarantee it's not just a locked
and
drop.
And with the amount of
boom,
money that the
done.
Dodgers are spending, they're still not going to do that.
Well, no,
I can't see him doing it.
No, I don't see him spending $10 million on Kemp and then also trading off, like you said, a couple of the the studs in the organization. It just if you're in the role for the future, you're in the role for the future. Matt Kemp doesn't. It's a bad equation. It's like somebody throwing 1-on-1 and they want
If we were contending right now, I could see it.
Yes.
But we're hoping for a 500 season this year to contend next year.
Exactly, and that is I don't think Kemp fits that. And really that for Darryl and I, that kind of wraps up where the Twins have as far as trade routes. There's just not a lot of their trade routes there. Highlight a couple of the neat things that we saw over the week, though. Talk about why they're probably not going to, break up the bullpen too much. Like for sure, why we won't see Mr. Perkins going. Depending on, with Casey, it'd have to be something really good. But check this out, Twins fans. Entering this week, the Twins bullpen ran a 1.86 ERA in July, and that was the fourth best in the major leagues. And mind you, they pitched the second most innings out of the bullpen in that span of 58. So I think that's one reason right there why, unless they got an unbelievable offer for Casey that really fit them,
right.
I don't think they're going to want to break the bullpen up. It's the one stable piece right now while they work on, getting Meyer and May up here next year and rebuilding that rotation. You're going to need
There's
that stable.
There's going to be a lot of things that can happen. I mean, you got Kyle Gibson that he had the back spasm. He missed the start. It looks like he's going to miss again Saturday. I think Darnell's going to be pitching on Saturday.
It is now. They did state that now that because the Red Wings now show tomorrow's pitcher as TBD.
Okay.
So
and then you got Phil Hughes. If you guys didn't see it, he took a comebacker to the shin. Thought his leg was going to be broke.
Man,
it's a bad bruise. He feels I love Hughes, and I was a big fan of that acquisition.
Phil's tough.
But he said it's his responsibility to not miss a start. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. Just everything you've heard and read and met about Phil Hughes, but that had to hurt. I mean, that's a line shot right out the shin. I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't begrudge him if
he missed a start.
After that.
Not at all, because the one I understand Phil where he's coming from. I love him for that mentality of, you know what, I got to go out there and pitch every night. But in the same instance, Phil, I want you to be honest. If you get on that mound and that leg's still hurting you, take that start off, man. I mean, because otherwise, I don't need to see you go out there and have a 3-inning,
And it's really sad because this is what we were seeing earlier. We had Gibson and Hughes. They were our guys. They were pitching well, and now it's looking like, it's the last 3 years where we're picking up guys. We've got Darnell. We've got Chris Johnson. We've got Pino. Swarzak spot started, which did a fantastic job. He threw 5 innings, only gave up a couple of hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. He did great. Everybody's excited. You got to be excited for the farm system and getting these guys up here.
And you've also got to be able to deal with injuries. Almost every club has to deal with them at some point. During the season, it's tough when it hits your rotation, your starting pitchers. Obviously, that's a little harder to deal with. But the bright spot, if you want to look at it that way, is maybe it finally elevates Meyer and/or May quicker, for sure. One of the two. I mean, we know that.
Yeah, when we touched on down in the farm, how Meyer, he threw a great game his last outing, and May was throwing a shutout yesterday.
Yeah,
Now that's yesterday, so that means he's not starting for another week, but he could definitely be in the rotation if something happened to be up with if these injuries to both Hughes and/or Gibson linger.
Yeah, if either one of them gets longer than just another start, then I agree. That's
of course, you got Alaska. Now, he was in a bullpen session. He's getting better. But
that's still a ways out, though. I mean, really, that is still.
And if you trade Correa, then that's a spot opens again. Now again, you have Chris Johnson, you've got Pino, you have Swarzak, Dadunio. You've got guys you can fill spots with, but we want to see our good guys.
And guys, with that, we're going to wrap up Twins chat for this week. We just want to let you guys know that we'll be right back on Talking Twins to cover the Twins calendar. We're just going to have to take a break for a moment here because the national anthem is about to be sung here at Target Field. So we will be right back with the Twins calendar here on Talking Twins. Hey guys, we're back here on Talking Twins to wrap up the show with the Twins calendar segment this week. Now, the Twins finish up the homestand here at Target Field with 3 remaining games against the White Sox. Now, of course, they're here tonight at home, Friday night the 25th, for a 7-10 start against the White Sox. Tomorrow's game on Saturday is a 6-10 start, and then Sunday on the 27th they'll wrap up against the White Sox with a 1-10 start. Now, after that, the Twins do head out on a road trip. Monday the 28th is an off day, and then they'll arrive in Kansas City for a 3-game swing against the Royals. Now, all 3 games in Kansas City are 7-10 starts, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the 29th, 30th, and 31st. Now, after that, the Twins will continue on the road, and from Kansas City, the Twins will then arrive at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago for a 3-game series with the White Sox next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Now, the Friday game is a 7-10 start. The Saturday game at U.S. Cellular is a 6-10 start. Then the Twins will wrap it up on the 3rd on Sunday with a 1-10 start before coming home for a nice short 2-game homestand against the San Diego Padres. And as always, Twins fans, remember, you want to watch Twins baseball, you catch them on Fox Sports North or Fox Sports 1. And if you want to listen to the Twins, listen to them on the radio home, the official radio home of the Minnesota Twins, 96.3 K-Twin. Guys, we'll be right back to wrap up Talking Twins and wrap up episode 10. Hey, Twins fans, we're back here on Talking Twins to wrap up another episode. Episode 10 was recorded up here at the Met Club, and we had a fun time talking to Jamie Ogden, giving us a lot of insight on the Twins minor league life. We wrapped up Twins chat covering the Major League Club, and then also wrapped up down on the farm just to give you guys the latest in the minor leagues. Now, as always, remember, guys, if you want to contact us, if there's something you want to hear, if there's an interview you guys would like to hear in the future, remember, you can always hit us up at the email address, talkingtwins@icloud.com. You can hit us up on Facebook, too. You can find us at www.facebook.com/twinsnotes. Or you can always, shoot us a tweet out on Twitter, and our Twitter handle is twinsnotes as well. Just remember, you can find us any of those three places, and if you go to our website at twinsnotes.com, you'll see the link for Facebook and Twitter right there, so it's all right there at home. We do want to throw some thank yous out, too, before we leave the show this evening. As I mentioned, Jamie, we want to throw a special thank you to Jamie Ogden for coming on the show this evening and, really giving us some, great interview, great information, great stories, and just a great time overall. Remember, check out Jamie's cause on our website. It's Minnesota Icemen. So come out and check that out. We'll have that on twinsnotes.com as a link for you. It's a really neat thing Jamie's doing. They're trying to really help fund baseball for kids that are elite players but, can't afford, the fees and the equipment and all that stuff. And it's a really, really good cause that Jamie and his guys are doing there. So check us out on twinsnotes.com. We'll have you guys the link for Jamie's cause, which is Minnesota Icemen. And with that, we also want to let you guys know Jamie's got a nice little eatery over in White Bear Lake called Manitou Station. In fact, Daryl and I in the next couple of weeks are going to bring the wives there to check it out and to give it a good little once-over. It's a great little spot for fish and chips, chicken, steaks. So if you guys want to, frequent one of Twins Note spots, please go out and check out Manitou Station in White Bear Lake and tell Jamie and the guys that Daryl and I sent you. With that, we also want to throw a couple thank yous out to our folks here at the Met Club. That's Cynthia is here at the Metropolitan Club as far as DNC goes. Cynthia, thank you so very much for letting us have this great opportunity. As always, we also want to throw that thank you out to Kevin Smith from the Minnesota Twins. Kevin was the one that first said, gave us the go and made it happen, so definitely want to do that as well. We also want to throw out one final thank you to Rob Beal from DNC. Rob's been kind enough the last couple of weeks to do things such as set up a spot for us, get us ushered in before even the start of the game, get us, all the kind of logistics just figured out for us so that we could get in and set the show up. And we want to throw Rob a nice little thank you for that as well. And with that, guys, we're wrapping up episode 10 of Talking Twins. Thank you for listening. Go Twins, and we'll catch you guys back next week for episode 11.